Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhairagale, ni hao, junashumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chutore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suavika, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that in these times of distress, anxiety, and a lot of problems, I hope that everybody out there, whoever is watching us or whoever is watching our morning show, is perfectly fine. Or if in case you're fighting a battle with yourself or with this novel disease, please make sure that you rest yourself to the max, and then at the same time you take all the precautionary measures and you make sure that you prevent getting that disease as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, since it's a it's a fine day over here in Islamabad, but other than that, I was off from the show for last 15 days, and I was traveling all over the world. I got a chance to go to Dubai. I got a chance to go to UK. I got a chance to go to New York, but I couldn't unfortunately go over there because the entry was only open for the residents. So I've kind of learned about this disease quite a lot, and I think that over here in Pakistan, people are relatively newer to learning what they actually need to do while this pandemic is actually going on. Relatively, the number of cases over here in Pakistan is very low, but to be very well aware, I think, is something which is very important, and I think that this is something which people can benefit from. I mean, talking about, I don't think that there's any country left on this planet where there's no coronavirus. So obviously, we definitely have to make sure that our kids, our parents, and everybody else is fine and they do not get it from us, and not just them, even people who are out there. So as soon as I got back from international travel, I made sure that I'm going to stay in quarantine. I stayed in quarantine as well, made sure I didn't have any symptoms. And when I was sure that I didn't have any symptoms, that's the time when then I called my producer. I was like, okay, I'm ready to start working. So in the first place, obviously, it makes me happy that we are the frontline warriors as well. Coming out of your homes and doing shows for everybody who's out there. I think this is important. But the most important part, ladies and gentlemen, over here is lack of knowledge. Now, obviously, since everybody's getting a lot of information on their WhatsApp, on their Facebook pages and whatnot, so everybody's becoming a doctor these days. And this is something which can be very dangerous. And this is something which can even save your life because you don't know. And people over here in Pakistan do not have this habit of research as well. So first of all, before even getting started or what we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, there are a few things which I wanted to let people know. And that is that please make sure that you do not really hug or shake hands with each other. This is something which is very important because once you touch somebody, that's the time when you're actually going to get that disease as well. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, over here, people can be positive. This is something which everybody needs to understand. So you can be positive of coronavirus, but then as a matter of fact, it might not have any symptoms on you. But that does not matter that you do not, and that does not mean that you do not have coronavirus. But in fact, that means that you do have coronavirus, but the symptoms are not occurring onto your body. So that does not mean that you're not going through that. So particularly, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people who are not having symptoms, they can even spread this novel disease onto other people. And explaining how it works, for example, if we talk about simple influenza, flu, it is said to be R2, which means that if a person who's actually going through or suffering from influenza will transfer it to two other people. Now, talking about coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen, this is R6. So anybody who's positive with coronavirus is actually going to give it to 6 other people. Those 6 are going to give, 36 other people. So I think everybody needs to stop that. And over here in Pakistan, I've seen that there's no culture of, sneezing or coughing into your elbow. People do not even put their bare hands right in front of their mouth. Or even if they do, the next thing they do is that they're going to shake hands with somebody or probably hug somebody. So please don't do that. And people are saying that the fatality rate is very low in this disease. So, there's something which everybody needs to know. For example, we speak about China. There were more than 80,000 cases over there, and then there were 9,000 or 7,000 or 3,000 deaths elsewhere. Even in Italy, if you go in Europe, even in USA, it broke open. But then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, China was able to control that fertility rate to 3,000 because of the expertise they had or because of the treatment they were giving to people, or how, their medical service provider sector actually helped in getting people better. So over here, I think that what we need to do is, first of all, we need to pray. I mean, imagine that this is something which is so ruthless by people, and just because of the fact that they were very unaware. Imagine what happened in Baraku, and there are certain other places where the lockdown has taken place just because of the fact that there were people who were going around and they were positive with coronavirus, and then now eventually you know that the entire place is positive with coronavirus. So that's something which we don't want. But then on the other hand, I think that, and this is our responsibility to let people know that World Health Organization recognizes Pakistan as one of those countries who've taken all of the precaution measures, first of all, in time, and that is going to have a very positive impact. Just yesterday, the graph went a little down as well, you know, so there were not a larger number of newer cases. There were a few newer cases, but the number is very low, so the graph is going down. And I think that this is something we need to do. We need to make our parents understand, we need to make our kids understand, we need to make our friends understand that, you know, for once, if we are going to be apart, we can be together forever. And all of these things need to be remembered by everybody. Now, to get started, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to get started with letting people know how to actually use a sanitizer. Because while I was traveling, I could see people that, you know, they were really not aware of how to use it. I've even seen people, you know, once, you know, you give it to them into their palms, they've started licking it because they don't know what to do with it. So ladies and gentlemen, here is a free demo of how to use a hand sanitizer so that you properly look after. So I'm going to do it on my gloves, and I think it will be helpful. So you just put a little, you know, you rub a little as well, but you really need to go in between the fingers over here. So once you go in between the fingers, you see that these spots, you know, my fingers cannot cover these spots as well. So what you do is that you go like this so that you cover this as well. And then you have to rub your nails onto this. So thumbs are left out, so you go with the thumbs as well. And then you do this as well. So please make sure that this is the right way to use your sanitizer. If in case, you know, you get a little paranoid, you can even put it on your mouth, I mean, or probably around your nose. This is something which I do as well. But other than that, today, ladies and gentlemen, we obviously have been joined by some gentlemen who are representatives of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and, you know, everybody in their capacity over here in Pakistan is trying to do something good for all our Pakistani brethren as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we'll be talking about all the preventive measures which are available and what people can actually do to save themselves, and then what kind of precautions we really need to take, and then how is the, you know, I think that this is going to be a very interesting conversation. First of all, us being PTB world, you know, and then having people from PTI as well. I think that it's going to be a very wonderful conversation. We need to see what the welfare wing of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is actually doing in Gilgit-Baltistan Center as well. We have somebody, ladies and gentlemen, he's none other Jalal Haider Khan Sahab. He's the Deputy Secretary General Insaf Welfare Wing, Gilgit-Baltistan Center. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, how are you? Good morning.
Assalamu Alaikum, good morning Pakistan, and thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being a frontline warrior alongside us, and I think credit goes out to all my team, my cameramen, people in the MCR, everybody who made sure that they're going to be at work today. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much, Jalal sir, for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, alongside Jalal Haider Khan sir, we've actually been joined by a member PTI as well. He's none other than Mir of Nagar, Prince Qasim Ali sahab. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Salam, very well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Assalamu Alaikum, Pakistan.
Wa alaikum assalam, thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So before I get started, before we talk about the preventative and the precautionary measures, there's one more thing which I want to talk about, and that is mental health. You know, so for all of these days which I have spent within my own room, knowing that I cannot see my daughters, knowing that I cannot hug my father, knowing that I cannot hug my mother, was a little depressing. And, you know, knowing that you cannot get out of this room for the betterment of your family is something which kept me going on. But how do you think people will deal with all of these issues? And not just that, there's one more thing, and that is that, you know, we know that over here in Pakistan, we have a lot of domestic violence. We know that over in Pakistan, you know, girl child is not treated as a boy child. We know that even in a household, there are problems. So people getting locked down within their own houses and facing all of these challenges, what can we do? And how do you think that they need to overcome all of these things? Yes.
It's on me, right. Basically, I feel the Pakistan is not only 3-4 major cities of Pakistan. For example, if you look at Punjab, there are 20 plus districts. And when you go and see them, the poverty or the lack of education or awareness, I think one thing is very important over here. Today, the youth is not on the television, they are on the Android. Even the smallest district or
I mean, I'm on television. I mean, if
yes,
you consider me youth.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, sure, definitely. With your looks and your hairstyle, definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. But please continue.
So I see the tool which is called the digital technology or a social media.
Yep.
That is the one which should reach everybody and everywhere,
Yep.
from province to districts, districts to tehsil.
Exactly.
So I suggest this is the best tool. Youth, the more they are aware of the laws and regulations, rules and whatever norms are being set. For example, if today I am sitting here, this is the first day of the transmission.
Yep.
Otherwise, most of the people right now are expecting to go live online and sitting at home. And I said, no, we should take a step out. And for the awareness sake, so I contacted Mr. Qasim to join hand. I was expecting an excuse from him. Nay, I'm not well, I'm not going to come. So finally, I really appreciate. He recently joined the PTI wing, and we are here for the welfare.
Exactly.
And
okay, let's talk about that. So, Insaf Welfare Wing,
right.
You know, this term is very new to my ears, and I think that this wing has just been created or just been innovated as well.
Hardly a week, 2 weeks back.
Hardly weeks or 2 weeks back. So, why do you think that there was a need to create an Insaf Welfare Wing when there's so many other NGOs working already?
First of all, Pakistan is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. When we say Pakistan, is the hub of Pakistan. Every Muslim state looks at Pakistan as a power, as a inshallah of the future superpower. And I think this credit will go eventually to Khan Saab.
That's fine. You know, that's fine that this is something I don't want. But you know, I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
You know, so Insaf Welfare Wing is relatively new. How did it came into being?
When we keep saying Madina ki riyasat, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And especially what we liked, and I was the part of this party, and I loved it because this is the right placement for the youth of the future.
All right.
That is when we talk about welfare, it is above any political party.
Exactly.
Because we are doing something good for the community, for the humanity. I think nothing is bigger than this. I think this is a very positive. When, for example, when I was appointed for the GB Gilgit-Baltistan, the best part was among this welfare people, they are away from the bureaucracy, away from the politics. They've chosen such people who have delivered something on the ground, and who mean at least they're looking forward this chapter. They will come and deliver, and they have been delivering. So to my surprise, when I called up Gilgit-Baltistan, the vision behind me is you cannot deploy Pakistan Army at the transportation. You cannot deploy each and every from province to district to because the private sector, the volunteers, they must come forward. So when I contacted the youth people and I came across Imtiaz, a very effective person in Gilgit-Baltistan, and Bakir in Hunza, and I told him I have a problem, and not to forget that is Dilshad, these three people. And I said, you know, we need volunteers.
What did they say?
I was surprised within no time, within 2 to 3 days, I had lists coming up from all districts of Gilgit-Baltistan, and age with a very strong immune system, because Gilgit-Baltistan, a young lot 24 to 35, they're very strong, the longevity of life and the strength, and they're out there to ready, what's next, where do we go?
Okay, well that's great. I'm going to hold you over here. I'm actually going to pause you, you know, just like how we pause our series on Netflix as well, because I have a difference of opinion. But before I indulge myself into that, ladies and gentlemen, let me move on to Qasim Saab over here. So Qasim Saab, as a matter of fact, you know, I think that you're actually going to contribute quite a lot to the welfare wing, and it's because of the fact that, you know, there's already an NGO in your father's name, and you've been making sure that, you know, that people of this country can actually get any sort of help from that NGO too as well. And you've got a lot of experience, you've got a lot of men on the ground too as well. So there's a lot of experience which you have, which you really need to share with the welfare wing as well. But then at the same time, how did you become a member of the PTI in the first place, and then the Insaf Welfare Wing, because it's just very recent?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that, because let's put one thing forward, that my primary goal was towards humanity.
Okay.
When somebody asked me about why I went into PTI, let me tell you, we are that generation, we are those kids that were going around raising funds for Shaukat Khanum.
Wow.
we were in schools running around with those raffles and
Yeah.
selling them.
Yeah.
So when somebody says that we've come into PTI just now, let me tell you that we grew up into PTI
Yep.
in many ways.
Wow.
So I would say that I've been a part of it since the past God knows how many years since we were in school.
Yeah.
I'm sure many other people my age would be able to relate.
Yeah.
Now, coming into PTI was also something that I had on the cards for maybe for a while, but this has been my official joining.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of social work. I have a lot of men on the ground, but let me also add that I have a lot of women on the ground.
Yeah, that's good.
So I've been working towards, my whole team has been working towards women empowerment. And this is not just today, we started this initiative about a year and a half, 2
Wow.
years back.
Okay.
So we are looking to empower women, and we want there to be 2 people in a household that are working. Because the inflation rate is high, you need 2 people at least working, you need to send your children to school, and why not women should have their equal rights as well.
Exactly.
So to bring them up, and now today in these crises, our women are also out as volunteers. It's
Wow.
not just the men.
Wow, that's
It's
good.
not just the young boys. Everybody is out there. So we are looking to tackle this situation. In Gilgit-Baltistan is where I've been functioning for the past 9-10 years.
Wow.
I've been in this line of work. Now, the beauty of what we do is
Yep.
we've got some outreach workers, and we've had them for a year and a half.
Okay.
What these outreach workers do is they go from door to door within the area.
Okay.
So now we have a data of every household, of how many children we have, how many illnesses we have, in
All right.
what skill sets we have in every household.
right.
So today, when this problem has come about, we know exactly when we are out to donate a mask, we know exactly where we're going to put it
And
down.
which girl or boy to, where they're actually needed, and, where they should be going or who they should be helping. That's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, coming back to your question about PTI, you see, PTI is one party that that really looks at humanity as a first, and seeing what they've been doing over the years. They've got the cancer hospital, and looking at Khan Saab's vision. Whenever you see his vision, you'll see there's always something about charity or
Exactly.
charitable causes.
Exactly.
And why not be a part of somebody who's going to talk about humanity and talk about taking things further in the country, eradicating poverty. Also, if you notice, recently what's happened is all the provinces have taken over.
Yep.
Khan Saab has not just taken this credit in his pocket. In fact, I'll give you an example of Gilgit-Baltistan. There's the chief minister from PMLN, and he's been given all the authority to run the show,
Yeah.
to tackle with the crisis. So all parties have joined hands, and I think I give hands down to Khan Saab for his leadership at
Exactly.
this time.
And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, the world is saying it. So, and I think that everybody needs to believe in it as well, and everybody needs to believe in his vision. But let me come on to Sir over here. So, you said that you have a lot of people
Yes.
who are ready to volunteer. You're saying that their immunity is great because of the first of all, since they're from Gilgit-Baltistan, every day and night, day in day out, they're hiking, they're coming up and they're going down, and this is their normal chore. That's fine.
This is one.
But you got list of people who are ready to volunteer.
List,
the problem
numbers
over here,
and
Jalal
the
Sahab,
districts,
is
that's it.
the problem over here is that we do not know how many people are infected
Absolutely.
with this novel coronavirus, and we cannot be sure of that. So don't you think that utilizing the valuable work of all of these volunteers can actually land you in danger as well, because you do not know how many out of these volunteers are infected with that disease or not? Or do you think that the volunteers need to be tested first and then deployed?
Because the first question came from GB was, okay, we have the volunteers and they're ready to work,
Yep.
but what is their safety?
Exactly.
What is their safety is, are they being given, number one, the masks, the precautionary measures. The reason being was there's another gentleman by the name of Mr. Jafar. He's doing another good work.
All right.
He contacted the government of China and the PM, Khan Saab. And one of the reasons is you can see a lot of equipment coming into Pakistan from China.
Yeah.
I must say, they're a friend in need. And in such situation when they have crisis in their own country, they have come up with the doctors.
Exactly.
They have people working on the front line. No doubt our government is there, the local government is there, the NDMA, National Disaster, is there, police administration is there. And the question which you asked was, they wanted their security first.
Yeah.
Because when we go to an institution, no parents want to send their children out. But when we say volunteers, we have picked up those people. If you see the national federations of sports, they have a strong immune system. Majority of them come from Balochistan, Hazara, or they come from KP, your cricket team, or you look at GB, out of 10, 15, the 10 will be from GB or from the north, from the mountain areas. So they have strong immune system, but they were very much concerned number one, what are the safety precautions we'll be getting, and secondly was, will we get a certification from Tiger Khan? I cannot comment on that, but I can always try. Request my president, and that is Habib Orakzai, and that they were very much interested. We are going out in front, we'll do everything to support, but we're going to be a letter of appreciation, Tigers, that was good to see.
So one way or the other, I think that the question I have asked, Jalal Sahab over here is actually, let it go and, come on to what he wanted to say. That's good. But my question over here is, you can provide them with all the precautionary kits, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're not sure how many volunteers are infected with that disease. So why do you want to put in place such volunteers who can actually be threat to the community? Rather than, I think, if you are to deploy volunteers, what needs to be done is that they need to be tested in the first place.
Absolutely right, because you may be knowing that if you're not even carrying, you can be positive.
Exactly.
Right.
If you do not have any symptoms, you still can be positive and give it to other people.
And you can put for 14 days just lockdown. So we have a center in Nagar, and he's very much aware of it. They are like, I won't give the numbers.
The Mir of Nagar, so
he knows the numbers. And secondly, I'm in touch with the Gilgit-Baltistan both. They have a center in GB Gilgit. So I think that is one thing, you've already pointed out. I think they should be tested because a lot of people are scared to go out and say that they're carrying or they have the symptoms.
And they should be scared. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one thing which I would want to reiterate again and again, and that is that everybody needs to stay at home. There's nothing important than your life. There's nothing at all on this planet which is more important than your life. And if you're going to be apart for some while, you're going to be together forever as well, which is great. Right now, we definitely have to head out for a short break, ladies and gentlemen. But before going towards the break, there's one question which I'm going to leave everybody with as well, and Jalal Sahab and Qasim Sahab over here, so that they can think about it. And that is that, what actually needs to be done in the light of prevention or precaution. And we have so many other organizations, we have people, which we'll be calling over here on the show as well, who volunteered themselves, they're giving ration bags, and then all of a sudden ration bags price hikes as well, So we need to address all of these issues, and how can we actually come together in such distressful time? I think that this is something we need to talk about, and what the Insaf Welfare Wing is doing in order to curb this menace. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Good morning.
Passion for polo will be the highest on the world's highest polo ground. Chandur invites visitors to experience a traditional polo tournament between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The tournament is held on Chandur Pass, the highest polo ground in the world, at 3,700 meters above sea level. The first time a polo tournament took place on the Chandur Pass was in 1936. It is a place unique and exotic in itself, surrounded by some of the most spectacular mountain scenery in the world. The event marks the annual rivalry between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The polo tournament has some added attractions for the visitors: trout fishing at the nearby streams and lakes, and a festival of folk dances and music of northern Pakistan. The event in itself offers a fascinating insight into the lifestyle of the people of this region. Their culture and indigenous customs are a delight to behold for the visitors. Crystal clear lakes, snow-covered mountains, alpine flowers, and vast stretches of green grass are added attractions. Fairs and festivals of Pakistan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PTV World. You watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, early in the morning, we've actually been joined by two amazing people who are actually working for the Insaf welfare as well in the Gilgit-Baltistan. Ladies and gentlemen, before going towards the break, we were talking about different initiatives which are being put in place by welfare organizations so that they can be helpful to the community and to the society as well. But before heading on towards the break, I particularly wanted to focus on what the Insaf Welfare Organization is actually doing in Gilgit-Baltistan or elsewhere in the country so that the community is safe and that everybody is getting whatever they need, because that's why we need welfare organizations. So I'm going to get started with Mr. Qasim over here because he's got a longer, or Mr. Jalal over here because they've got a longer experience as well. So Mr. Jalal, starting from you, Insaf Welfare Trust, what are they doing for the betterment of people in such times where we have a pandemic right on our heads as well and it's lethal?
Yeah, specifically in GB, they have isolation center in Nagar,
Okay.
and as well as in Gilgit, and they're effectively working with the local administration, with the scouts, with the police, and obviously with the AKRSP, Aga Khan, and the support of the China, which is coming in. A day back, the equipment and ventilators, a lot of stuff has come in. These are the efforts done. But when we talk only GB, it's not only GB, since we are sitting in center. So we are also having bloggers and a lot of social media campaigns, especially in all districts of Punjab, and especially all network of sports which are from provincial to district to tehsil. We are joining hands with them. So more the awareness, the better it is, because most of the people, they would come hug you or shake hand and say, no, we are Muslim, it's not going to catch us. So that is the concept. Even if you don't want to, they'll run and hug you and say, no, where are you going? You know, shake hand.
Exactly.
So that is a concept they have to understand. This is something serious. And especially I'm coming out right now from Bharia enclave. It's been surrounded by the virus. Chak Shahzad has been locked. And the area like from H9 to Chak Shahzad surrounding area, and today we were expecting a good work from Malik Riyaz Sahab. So he has stepped forward, and that one person I must appreciate, because he has come out with the Barakau.
Is Malik Sahab joining hands with the Insaf Welfare Trust, or he's just doing it on his
welfare,
own?
Because all I hear is because, not praising the gentleman, it is because I got some pictures.
But if he does something for the community, he should be praised. I mean, we credit is due.
Absolutely. So I got to know that it came to my knowledge 2 days back. He had a big campaign of volunteers, and secondly distributing equipment, and then today onwards he was specifically focusing starting from Barakau, because there have been a lot of cases in Barakau. And
Barakau currently is under a lockdown, right?
Absolutely. So he's going all out from Barakau, Chak Shahzad and areas. Not that he's a gentleman like him, he's contributing toward the welfare. I wish there should be more people. They may be more richer than Malik Riyaz sitting, like Mansha Saab and others. I think, where are they? I think everything you pick up, welfare or something, he's doing a good job. I think he should be a good example. So a lot of people should follow him. And
Jalal
the
sahab,
rest
that's
will do it.
great, but you've totally missed my question. What I'm trying
Again?
to ask over is, what is Insaf Welfare Trust doing to help people on the ground? I do not want to
Right.
talk about Malik Riaz. I do not want to talk about Mia Mancha. I do not want to talk about anybody.
Right.
Since you are here in the capacity of somebody who's representing Insaf Welfare Trust,
Right.
I just want to know what are they doing to help people, when such pandemic has actually hit all over the globe.
Not all over the globe. We are focusing on Pakistan. We are connecting with the people, and specifically, volunteers are in action. And you may say they're without masks and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, which
That's
should
right,
actually
right.
happen.
And a lot of people privately, they're coming up.
Yeah.
Like Habib is coming. The people who are a part of the welfare, they're out in the streets.
Okay.
And they'll be constantly giving information. Like specifically GB, every district, especially women, they're connecting, they're educating, they're distributing masks,
That's
sanitizers,
That's good.
educating. And that was one of the major questions you had, because we have a lot of volunteers work.
Okay.
But the problem is, irrespective of the equipment or the safety equipment, they're out in the field.
Alright.
And they're constantly telling us, who to contact. But the local administration, the AKRSP,
Yeah.
and the local support is very strong.
Yeah.
But if we go to a shop outside to purchase a mask or a sanitizer, the cost is too high.
Exactly.
That cannot be controlled by a welfare, can't
Exactly.
be controlled.
Exactly.
If I want to go and purchase a Dettol, it may be 3 times the price.
Yeah.
So there's a big confusion. This is the major
So
confusion
don't you
people are
think
having.
that the local government should actually, or your welfare organization should partnership with the local government to make sure that these price hikes do not take place? Don't you think that the local government can actually be of help?
They can be of help, but at this stage, there's a chaos. In fact, they're trying their best in a short period of time.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's very easy to comment that this should be done, this should be done, on ground, especially at this stage when all of the people are isolated and they're confined to their houses.
Yep.
And a lot of people are concerned. At this stage, at this time, each and every place has volunteers. They are coming up to support. But we have to tackle in an organized manner, because I think the bridge between the government, the volunteers, the local government, and specifically Insaf Welfare, we have just stepped in
Yes.
a week back, 10 days back.
Yep.
So I think unless we are not in coordination with each other,
Yep.
I mean, that is the only answer to your question. The more we are interacting with each other,
Yeah.
and that's how we will coordinate with it.
Well, that's great, and I'll come back to you. I've got another difficult one for you as well.
Yes,
but let
you're
me
coming
move on
up
to
with
Kazab over here. So, Kazab, as a matter of fact, I've told everybody as well who's actually tuned into PTV World today that you've got an extensive experience of 10 years, and you've always been helping people, whether may it be in Gilgit-Baltistan or all over Pakistan, which is great. So, in such times, you've heard what Mr. Jalal had to say about volunteers, about masks not being available, or price hikes. How do you think that any NGO at this point of time is working or operating themselves to make sure that people are safe and that they are getting the help they require?
You see, again, war is a time where people make money, and maybe coronavirus is.
I think wars happen because people want to make money.
Well, right now people are still making money, but we
Yeah.
need to also look into why this happens. If you remember, everybody was very adamant. Not everybody, but a lot of people were adamant, and a lot of journalists were also asking Khan Sahab, why don't you put a lockdown? Why don't you
Curfew,
do a
yeah.
lockdown, right? A curfew. What happens in those situations is that transport system stops completely.
Yep.
And right now, a lot of transport has stopped. We are not on a complete lockdown, but we are trying to stay away.
Yeah.
So what happens here is that all the goods that had to be carried from one city to the other city, from the factory to your doorstep or the retailers, they're not there anymore.
Exactly.
So obviously the prices are going to hike because there's a different mean of transport. People are bringing them in their private cars. Keeping in mind that a lot of production houses have opened up. Just some are making sanitizers, some are making masks,
yeah.
gloves, whatsoever, different PPE suits,
Yeah.
right? So business is going on, and it's very commendable that the government has allowed that provision over there. And I think that I do appreciate Khan Sahib for not actually going for that curfew-like situation, because I think you and I, once it would happen, we would really realize where the prices would go.
Exactly.
Or maybe we would not find, as an NGO, I probably would not find any goods to deliver. So now that the prices are high, if you remember the last press conference, Khan Sahib said we will take very serious action, because he's aware of the fact that the prices have inflated. Hand sanitizer, now they're homemade hand sanitizers. The problem is, what we need to look into is regulation.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to give somebody with the false hope that you're giving them a sanitizer that works, and it actually doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
We've had to try a couple of samples, tested samples, and there are ways of testing all the things, whether they work or not.
Yeah.
So it's our moral duty to, at this time, maybe because even the government is saying we're lowering down the prices of certain goods. Dal prices have come down, fuel prices have come down.
Good, yeah.
So the government is creating provisions. They want you to take that social responsibility yourself. Social responsibility also means social distancing. A lot of us have been at home for 15 days, and maybe that's why I've come out, because I feel that yes, I can come out. Yeah. I'm not contagious to any. My virus is not contagious to you all. That's why I've come out. However, we also need to see the society that we live in. What we are asking people to do is change traditions and cultures.
Exactly.
We are not like the Western world. We like to hug. We like to shake hands. We are very touchy-feely when it comes to greeting.
Yeah.
Right? The West is not like that. They understand. For us, you're asking us to change cultures and traditions.
Exactly.
So, keeping all that in mind, when you're actually giving an awareness, when you're actually going ahead with this awareness campaign, you have to tell people how to distance themselves and maybe keep those cultures on hold for 15 days or a month or whatsoever.
And that's great, and it's a beautiful message as well. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot sound any more nicer. I think the Qasim Saab has actually explained it wonderfully well. But very quickly, before we run out of time, just this one question which I actually
another blast
Jalal Saab as well. No, and it's a simple question. It's not a difficult one, and that is that whenever a welfare organization comes into being, or whenever somebody makes an organization whose motive is to actually help other people, they require a lot of funding. And it's 2 weeks down the line that that this Insaf Foundation actually came out, Welfare Foundation organization. So where are you getting your donors from, and do you have any donations, or is it people from PTI who are going to put in funds so that you can actually be of help to other people?
Currently, this was a major issue because it's a newborn baby, just hardly a week, 10 days back.
Exactly.
So the fund is the most important thing. The first crisis were the volunteers, then major was the funding. But people like how we started was Mr. Habib Orakzai and the team, Bacha Khan and other people. We started with the center.
Okay.
And like I told you, we had the sanitizers, we had the masks, and educating from the center.
So where did you got all of those sanitizers and masks from? Obviously, you
require
money for it. Okay, so like everybody put in their money.
They put in their money, and they distributed among the center, and that's how the campaign started.
Wow. To
aware. So people in their own private capacity as a social work, they came up. And you will be surprised, this gentleman, Bacha Khan Sahib, he's been here for over a period of 1.5 years. He's come from England, leaving his business and everything. In a crisis like this, he was here. And he was also contributing.
Wow.
But most of the people were contributing from their pockets.
Wow.
Like even one person can do a lot.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the bigger pedestal, that is obviously the donations, the donors. I think we suddenly we came up and it was hit by the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we are trying our best, whatever we can do on the ground. So that is the answer.
I think that's great. And ladies and gentlemen, to be very honest, whenever we talk about philanthropy, Pakistan tops the entire planet. So it has been said in several other reports that in Pakistan people are more philanthropic. They want to help people. They give a lot of money as sadaqah, as zakat, and whatnot. And which is great, and it is fabulous. And I think even if you go back in time, even if I go back in 2005 when the earthquake hit, I think all the Pakistanis, they got together. Everybody wanted to help someone, and I like this. And I like this as a nation. And I think that this is something very important for the development of a nation and a culture which is being developed for the future generations to come, which is great. But very quickly, sir, from both of you, towards the end of the show, since the topic today was the prevention and the precaution measures as well, so it's your responsibility to make people aware now. So what you're going to do is let us know what kind of precautionary and preventative measures anyone can take to save themselves from this novel coronavirus. Look into the camera.
The best message I would give is, most of the things we are away from our religion. I think we should pray 5 times a day, and that is towards cleaning your whole body, and that will be the best solution. Will be 5 times a day for your prayers, and that is the best solution I can think of. Or a verse called Ya Rahmano Ya Rahimu Ya Rahim, Ya Allahu Ya Rahmano Ya Rahim. This is the best medication, and world over, all you can hear one word as Allah. Believe in Him and pray 5 times a day. I think this is the best solution for coronavirus.
Well, that's great. Alhamdulillah. Qasim sir.
Well, at such times, we've been given guidelines, and I urge everybody to follow the guidelines. It's a matter of 15 days to 1 month. And the guideline says social distancing, hygiene, cleanliness, prevention. Prevention is the best cure for now. So I would urge everybody to keep distance from one another, be socially responsible, just stay away from one another. It takes 15 to 30 days to save your loved ones. You've got elderly at home, you've got children at home. Think about your mother, your wives, your children, and the elders that you want to protect. Today, to protect them, you have to do nothing, absolutely nothing. Stay clean and do nothing.
Exactly.
And is it so hard to do that? It's just a matter of 15 days to 30 days where you could actually save your life, your family's lives, and you could save all the other people around you. So if we all come out with the same message that we are not going to spread this virus from one to the other just by doing nothing, I think that we could just change the world, we could change our homes, we could change everybody around us. So again, my message to you would be, do nothing, be clean, don't go out. It's 15 to 30 days, and hopefully, and yes, also give generously, because a lot of people out there, even those who have money, don't have access to a lot of things at the moment. Nobody will say that food is not available in the market like the Western world. We've got toilet paper as well, so there's no chaos, there's no panic whatsoever. We've got everything ready, just that the people in the far out areas who have been affected, help them out, be generous, be kind.
Wonderful that is. Thank you very much, Qasim Saab. Thank you very much, Jalal Saab, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, honestly telling that it is for you people that we've actually stepped out of our homes. We have been in quarantine. We've made sure that we give all of that information, which is very important. And it is your responsibility to multiply this information and help other people as well and let other people know. But in my opinion, towards the end, obviously we've talked about how to, keep our hands clean, not to touch our face, how to wear mask all times. If you're going out, wear gloves, take them off. I think that all of these things are very important. But there's a personal thing which I'm going to share with you guys, and that is that, so this novel coronavirus, if you have to look at it, you have to zoom in 80,000 times to just look at it. And imagine that the most powerful countries in the world have actually bowed down in front of this pandemic, and it is not the nuclear weapon which they made, it is not their economy which is actually saving them. It's just one thing, and this one thing makes me realize that we are on a very short leash from Allah, and Allah gives us chance within this world as well to go back to Allah, pray for mercy and ask for forgiveness. And I think that this is the time that every Muslim really needs to pray from Allah Almighty as well, and make sure that they follow the path, which is very important. And once you start doing it, just imagine praying 5 times a day, which means that you actually have to do the ablution. You have to do the wuzu 5 times a day. So you're washing your face, you're washing your hands, you're washing your arms and feet as well. So please make sure to pray 5 times a day. Remember us all in your prayers. It's not that dangerous until and unless you go out to get it yourself, for your own self, and putting in danger your kids, your wife, your parents, or anybody who lives with you. So please make sure to stay back at home. We have a lot of people who are actually helping you. The help will be out there. The numbers are actually available online. So please make sure to contact them. There are a lot of people who are distributing ration bags. So if there's anybody who's in need, you can write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On YouTube, it's PTV World, and then you can look for the show, which is World This Morning. On Daily Motion, it's World This Morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope and I pray that everybody is safe. And please make sure to look after yourselves and your loved ones. And please make sure that you remember us all in your prayers. Thank you very much, guys, once again. Thank you very much, Jalal Saab. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Good morning. Bye.